right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Recovery Unplugged Live. I'm John Spalding from G1NBC Live. We are here with Amy McCorkle. Hey, Amy.
Hey.
We also have Dell and Dawn here, and we are featuring people from the Conquering Disabilities with Film International Film Festival. And so we are live on Vim TV, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on the Amy Unplugged Facebook page. Amy, now I turn it over to you. How are you tonight? What kind of updates do you have for all of us?
Well, we didn't win a Telly Award.
Boo.
I know. Boo. But, you know.
Boo. It just tells you what you got to do for the next time.
Yep.
Do they tell you what you have to do for the next time?
No, they just told me I didn't win.
Yeah.
you know not to repeat what you did last time. There you go.
I'm pretty sure I know what caused it, because the one...
It had to be me. It had to be me. They're like, your producer and who you have on air.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the sound.
We cannot allow him in. The sound?
The sound was better than it would have been if Valio hadn't salvaged it, but it still wasn't perfect.
Gotcha.
So, and we're going up against people like CBS, ABC. So they have bigger budgets and
better mics.
Onward and upward, baby.
Yeah.
Onward and upward.
No, that's okay.
I like my McDonald's drive-through headset. It works.
Well, we have some notifications coming up. We have Imaginarium on June 10th. That's Wednesday, if all goes according to plan. July 1st for Indie Gathering. July 10th I took a swing and submitted it to the Nashville Film Festival, which is what they call a top tier festival, whatever that means. It's where, so, and I also, and ARF, and then AOF is August 10th, or August 12th, or is it August 10th or August 12th, Del?
Why would you say that? August 26th through September 1st online.
No,
September 2nd. Oh, notifications.
Yeah.
Those are rolling. We do those constantly.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They're rolling dates. We don't make you wait until a week before the show. We try and get it to you as soon as we know.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to hear.
You're in. Here's your notification. You're in. There you go. Have a nice day. Anybody wants to know, just call me. It's not a big thing. We don't. I hate that thing that festivals do. They get you all excited, they make you wait, and then all of a sudden you find out after 6 months of waiting, you're out. Why don't you just communicate with people and say, I'm not showing your work. I'm not going to take your fees. Just tell them. It's not that hard.
I love you, Del. That's why I love you, Del.
Makes me nuts.
Okay, and ARF, it does notifications on July 14th. So those are the summer, and then there are some more. I don't remember. There's some more in August and September. There's a lot in August and September notifications, but I can't remember all of them.
How do you feel about the online shows that are going on, Amy?
I'm disappointed because I worked really hard on my film and I want them to screen at a physical live event. I understand the need to be safe, but there's 2 festivals so far that have held out. That's you and Indie Gathering that have live events so far. And I really want Indie Gathering because a lot of my people were from Ohio and they can come to the Indie Gathering show, like John. And of course I want to film. Of course, screening at AOF is fantastic because my film was shot specifically to be seen on a movie theater screen.
We got the best screens ever, man. Oh man, it's a beautiful theater. We've always shown in the top theaters around the country. Yeah. I mean, we've never not done that. So we've been very lucky. And this year is no exception. Wow, wait till you see these rooms. It'll blow your mind.
I can't wait.
Restaurant, bar, luxury seating, reclining seats. I mean, seats that they go so far back, you can watch the TV from your house while you're at the theater. That's a joke.
No, and I look though. I like live events because I've had films, but I feel like I took a big step forward this year and I want to show it off. I want to show off my work. I want to show off everybody's work who worked on the film. You know, I feel like they all sacrificed something in doing this movie for me, and I want to be able to pay them back in some way. And one of those ways is that their work is seen by a lot of people.
You know, there's kind of a rite of passage too, because you can upload your own film online. We get that. You can use Hulu or Vimeo or YouTube or whatever, and you can put your own movie up. That is not the same as going to a show and hearing about or seeing the pomp, the circumstance, the red carpets, the opportunities, and then the meeting of the people who can actually help you change and move forward. And I think that's something that only a live event can do. It's nice that people are doing their events online. I'm glad to see people not canceling in mass and just taking the people's money for their submissions. But you still have to try to do a little bit better. We have not seen the situation yet since the opening here in Vegas, or I don't think any other major city where the numbers aren't going down. And so there's no reason for these shows to have canceled. We're finding that out now. If they just waited and showed a little bit of fidelity with the people whose money they've taken, they could have done shows too. And that's all I'm going to say, because a lot of these people know exactly what they meant to do. They took the money, they ramped it up. And I can't say, let's say we get to September and the governor says it's closed down for good. There's nothing I can do about that. But we both know all those places are opening up now. And if you can protest in the streets, you can probably go to a film festival. I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah. Well, you know, my dad is a public defender, and today, like nationally, public defenders walked with demonstrators and protesters, and he walked with his public defenders, and he sat down with where they're peacefully protesting, and I said, "You had someone help you get back on your feet, didn't you, Dad? Because he's got like a drop foot, and he's 65 years old, and but he was out there in the heat, and I'm really proud of them. It was peaceful, and they got their point across without doing anything illegal or untoward. So, and he got home safely. So that's what I felt that grateful for today.
You should also know that today was National Donut Day, and I got home with all my crullers without any incident whatsoever. So
well, I'm looking forward. I always at night when I can't sleep, I hawk my mailbox for that AOF acceptance. And now that you told me I'm in, now I don't have to do that.
You should not have. You own one of the film festivals. You've been with us for going on so many years.
This is our 5th year.
We used to have that guaranteed filmmaker program where if you were ever accepted in the AOF, you were guaranteed a home for your work for the rest of your life. All you had to do is submit. And a couple of filmmakers who did substandard work years later, of course, came and crashed that program to the ground. Mm-hmm. But I still welcome people who've been there before. You are guaranteed in. You call me, I'll work it out for you. I'll add extra hours to the theater. I'll buy more screens, whatever it takes to get the work in. I'm with you. I'm a partner.
Let me just say, for like the Conquering Disabilities with Film International Film Festival exists because I don't know how I found AOF, but I think it was when I put up a laurel for another festival I had been accepted in, and you just put AOFfest.com in the comments section.
I did?
Yes, you did.
I don't normally do that. I don't really troll things, but I think maybe somehow I saw some of your work or someone had mentioned your name, and I put, hey, there's a place. We'll accept you. We'll accept you.
Well, I was like, well, let's make sure this guy's real. And then I saw your page and I realized you weren't. And I clicked on the link and saw how awesome Action on Film was. And
that's funny that you could do something my second ex-wife couldn't do, which was validate me. Thank you.
It was incredible. My first AOF was just one of the most validating experiences of my life as a screenwriter and a filmmaker, because especially just because at such a show where there was so much talent, and it was so, because I'd been to some festivals that were less than on the up and up, and I know you all don't award stuff because it has to be good. It It has to pass muster. And one thing you do though is show every creator this unconditional love. And I really needed it at that point, and it was just incredible. It helped me weather that year was kind of rocky for me. It helped me weather the storm. And John was one of the people who came on board to Letters to Daniel, helped steady the ship. And we started just kept pushing. It took a couple of years to get it made, but you all were always big Letters to Daniel supporters.
And all independent filmmakers who are really serious about doing something, whether you're a writer, producer, composer, an actor, a sound design expert, if you're Foley or wardrobe or makeup, we want to know you. I mean, we don't benefit by any particular group because we're not sponsored by anybody big enough to make a difference in how we do our business. And so we really do care. I mean, I think we've shown it over 16 years. But this is not something I wake up in the morning and someone hands me a check for $5 million for. It's something I got to get up and make happen every year. And seeing someone like you who works 10 times harder than me, how could I not do it? I'm embarrassed by how much you do compared to what I've done. And a lot of people should be, because there's only one Amy Lane McCorkle, and I'll be by your side until the end. You tell me you want me there, I'm there. End of story.
I do.
I'm right here.
Okay. I'm going to do John. Do you have anything?
I was going to transition to Dawn. You don't transition to Dawn. I transition to the interview with Dawn.
Dare you?
Wah, wah, wah.
Dare you?
No, listen. You are carrying the show. You guys are doing awesome. So yeah, I know what you want to do. Let's go. Let's interview Dawn.
Okay, so Dawn Ming, or is it do you want to be called Doctor or Dawn?
It's you can Dr. Dawn or Dawn Menge. Dawn's fine.
Okay. What's your doctorate in?
Curriculum instruction.
So you're a teacher, right?
Yes.
And what do you teach?
I have been teaching students with severe cognitive delays for over 20 years.
And what led? So let's get to the questions. So now my computer doesn't want to work. Okay, so
can I ask a question while you're getting ready?
Yes.
When you say you're a doctor of would you be called a master instructor, or is there another title that we would know you by better that's rather than just?
No, it's just I have a PhD in education.
Education.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. We need great teachers. Thank you for being one and for dedicating so much of yourself to it.
Well, I really enjoy what I do. I have a great time with my students. Not right now, but Zooming with them is not what I would really like to be doing. But
what has teaching been like? Because we moved to Zoom. What has that been like for you? What was that like the end of the school year for you?
Well, I actually, for about the last 3 years, I've been traveling to Sacramento and working with the CDE and the ETS, creating the testing for our students. So we go up there and we advocate with the science teachers, and I'm advocating for my students. And I'd been in Sacramento, and the teachers there were from LA and San Diego, and they were shutting their schools down as we were up there. So I came home on a Thursday. Friday was the last day I was at school. We didn't take anything home with us. We didn't know they were going to do this. And so at first I was very apprehensive. Like, we can't do this. Our students are very hands-on. I teach autism and Down syndrome and visually impaired. They can't do this. And so I made a trip to the dollar store and collected stuff. We weren't even allowed back into our classrooms.
Oh my goodness.
So I didn't have anything. And so when we got going and decided this is what we're going to be needing to do, actually it's turned out pretty good. I have a steady like 5 or 6 students every day that are on there. Their parents are sitting with them. And so I actually get a lot of one-on-one with them and get to see exactly what they're doing. Because in the classroom, I have 5 assistants and we're very busy. We have a program where we go into the community. My other students are doing one thing. And so now I get some one-on-one. I spend a lot of time with the parents. And so it's been kind of nice in that way. I am ready to go back to work in the classroom. The students they're missing out on a lot, but all my parents are doing great. Thankfully, nobody I know has been sick. So,
okay. Okay.
And I've been able to take this opportunity to actually write more books.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's like this has been kind of good for me in a way. So I've just finished one. It should be out next week. It's on my books are all based on my actual adventures. So this one is a pre-K to first grade, and it's based on the train ride from the Grand Canyon, from Williams, Arizona to the Grand Canyon. And it's called Queen Vernita's Magical Christmas Ride. And then we went on the Polar Express with 19 of my family members.
Wow.
And so that's coming out next week. And then I have another one. We go to Halama Beach every year and we go camping. So I did another pre-K to first grade on that one. And I've got like 3 more I have in mind. But before we did this, I was so busy going to book signings and book events and trying to work and going to Sacramento. I was actually exhausted and I could not have continued that pace. So it's been kind of good for me to be able to slow down and get some books out that I wanted to do.
Okay.
So
as we've said, you have a doctorate, and you had, and as you're saying, you have created these charming children's books, the Queen Vernita series, where she visits each island or has an adventure, and with the people of these islands, and the people of these islands have a different physical challenge. Tell me what inspired you to create this series, and why did you submit to Conquering Disabilities with Film?
Well, it began with this one, Queen Vernita's Visitors. And the original book was actually an assignment when I was getting my credential. It was in my math class. So we had to create a math book and a board game. So the original story actually had my students in it. It was Queen, her name was Victoria. And what I did when my students, I had the same students from elementary school all the way, our students stayed till they're 22. So I had the same students the whole way through. So I was really lucky to have been able to do that. But what I did was we took the story and we traveled around to the elementary schools in our area, and our students performed the skits. Then I would go back the next day and explain, the behaviors and some of the mannerisms and some of the things that might have happened while we were there, and answered the questions. And so, like most teachers, I thought, I want to publish the book. So what I did was, Vernita is my grandmother. So I named it after my grandmother, who founded the United Methodist Credit Union. She was a great businesswoman, a world traveler. And everybody in the book is a real person in my life. So the first book has all of the children that were in my family. This is my nephew. And so I thought, well, they're not going to complain, and this was the only book I was going to write, And so as soon as I got it out, I started getting interviewed, and I won the Evie Award, which is the Colorado Independent Publishers. This one won first place.
Nice.
Fantastic.
So everybody started asking me, what's your next book? I'm like, that was it.
Of course, they always do.
What book? I'm done. This was it. So what I decided to do, since all of this traveling was instilled in me, was the Queen was going to travel around her kingdom and learn about the different areas in her kingdom. So she's been to Alaska, and she's been to, this is based on Kona, Hawaii. I have a childhood friend that lives there. He married a woman who grew up there. So I visited there a lot. And so he is the main character in this book. And we go there and we learn about seahorses and turtles, and all the adventures are real. We went there. This is my friend's granddaughter. And then this is one of the ones that I entered. And this one, Sir Heathy Bean, is actually my little brother. He's an astronomer at JPL, and he helped me write this book.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so, and I used to call him Heathy Bean when he was little. His name is Heath. And he wanted to be this nutty professor with the wild hair and the bunny rabbit slippers. But this is one of the ones that have, so each month, the formats are all the same. Each month is a different subject. It matters, where we are. And then there's 7 facts in the subject that we read about. So if you're interested in this, then you go get more information, like Saturn or Venus. But this one I included, let's see if I can find them, the disabilities. Now, of course, they can't find the page. Okay, this one is Jake. And Jake is she's my assistant in my classroom. She's been my assistant for over 20 years. She's my right hand, but she adopted this child. And so he's, oh my gosh, I think he's like 28 now. So this is who he is. And so Sir Heathy Bean is teaching him about, what is this one? Okay, he has cerebral palsy. So Heathy Bean is teaching him. Now there's 7 facts that have about cerebral palsy.
Wow.
And then there's Jeremy is in here. And Jeremy was actually one of my students. Here he is. He was one of my students that I had for, I'm going to say 15 years. I had him since elementary school until he left us at 22. His mom was also a teacher with us. And he has Down syndrome. So it explains 7 facts about Down syndrome. So it's just like a little taste. So if you're more interested in it, you can go learn about more information about it, or it's just kind of an introduction for the children. It's not, you know, being pounded into them. It's kind of just one they can skim over, and if they want to have information, but it makes it kind of less scary when they see someone, you know. And this one has one, I think it's one, it has 3 on here, but I think it's won 4 awards, because it's one, this is one that was entered into the film festival and will be there. And then this one, this is the last one I just did. This is also in Kona, Hawaii. It's about the volcanoes. This one has Rett syndrome and it has autism. So this little girl, these are 2 very real people. This is Heather and her mom, and she has Rett syndrome. So then it talks 7 facts about it, just kind of a little taste of it. And then she's making leis for all of the children in her class. And that's something that I actually did when I was in Hawaii.
Wow.
And this one is Connor. Connor had autism, and he was my student for about 3 years. And this is Connor and his dad, and they're teaching the Queen about how to use his communication device. So he's explaining how he talks to people and explains it to the Queen, just 7 facts. And then so it's not quite so scary, and you can see, oh, this is how we do it. This is what we're doing. And so this is another one that I entered, and it's going to be there. And then I entered it in another one, thanks to Amy, and I will be there in September too. So I'm really excited. This is like a whole new thing. And the reason I entered, because total my books I have, this will be my 10th book out. My books have won 41 awards total, from everything from EV to Reader's Favorite, Reader's Views, Story Monster, approved, Royal Dragonfly, Purple Dragonfly, all sorts of things. I entered them in different things, so I'm not like getting the same, you know. And so I saw this, it must have been on Facebook. And I thought, oh, I'll try this, you know, because of the disabilities. And here I am. So I'm glad I did.
So
it's going to be really, it's going to be, when we go in September, it's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, you're going to have a really good time.
But I was explaining, I watched the last interview that I think it was the last week that she was interviewing 2 men, and I was watching them, and I happened to mention to her that my brother has a mental disability, and it was really rough on our family because he went all the way through school, he started college, and then it manifested into schizophrenia.
Oh no.
And so it was really a shock for our family. You know, he was like the valedictorian, you know, and his intelligence. And that's what I was telling her, that the other men, they were talking about how they had to struggle through it, and that some were able to do, you know, better than others. And, you know, my brother, his intelligence it's there. It's all there.
Right.
It's just, he's had so many medical problems, and, you know, it's just so sad for him, you know, because he's there, he wants to do things and he just can't, you know.
That's what, well, that's the reason why I feel like this film festival exists, is to give people like you who are a teacher or a caregiver who have worked in that field and with those subjects, and then of course then you tell me you have a personal experience. I would, if he, I don't know how high functioning he is, because, you know, we haven't talked about that, But if he creates anything, I would love to see it in my festival.
Oh, I'll let him know.
Because I have a real strong interest in seeing that they've given me a platform, and I definitely want to use it, and I want to give other people, because I have bipolar disorder, so I want to see other people with it succeed and be honored and have a
Oh, I'll let him know. Good. I think that will be a good inspiration for him, because he doesn't have an outlet, and his physical issues keep him in a place that his mental facilities, they don't mesh together. So, being the teacher that I've been, and it's kind of hard for me to see that, though I'm not able to help him. I don't, he needs a lot of care that I can't give him. But, because our thing is to always push our kids, our students, get them out there. We have a working program. When I live in a small mountain community, and I taught in the district. And when my students became adults, like they're between 16 and 22, we started working in the community. I grew up snow skiing. Like every Wednesday we went snow skiing. And so I wanted my students to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. So we started a snow ski program for 4 years. So we went skiing, and they had their own instructor. And we just got to do so many things. We worked in like 6 different businesses. They went to college. We really pushed. And because I had the same parents, we got to do so many things. We had a little business where they made these Christmas trees that light up. And so we used that money to go all over the place, like nobody stopped us, and I really enjoyed it. Worked really, really hard, but I really enjoyed doing all of that.
Okay. Is this the first film festival you've entered? And if so, what do you hope to get out of it?
Yes, it's the first film festival I've even thought of entering. So yes, I'm not sure. I really am not sure. I didn't really expect to be even here, So I think that, like I was telling you, I think I'm going to get a lot of things out of it that I just don't really even know at this point what I'm going to get out of it. I think I'm going to get a lot of information that would help my family, my brother, a lot of inspiration. I'm just going to meet a lot of people. I don't know anybody in the film industry. So this is all going to be new for me. And I'm probably going to be like awestruck and overwhelmed and like, I don't know what I'm doing. Where am I supposed to be? And so it's just going to be, I think my son's going to come with me. So it'll be nice. It'll be really interesting.
You're going to be like Amy was 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, like a whole new world. It's a whole new world, okay. And so I have no idea.
This marks my 5th year. It's 4th year, but 5th festival going. So it's my 5th AOF. And so it's and I'm going to tell you, my experience is this. Every year I think AOF has topped themselves. The next year I go, they make it even better. So
we've tried. This is going to be a tougher year because it's the year that everyone is coming out of horrible circumstances, unfortunately. But yeah, you never know. I mean, I keep looking at all the casinos and hotels, and they're starting to pack up. People are showing up. I'm going to do a little recon tomorrow night, see what's up at the local bars, make sure everything's safe for the public. Forget what the governor says. They're going to talk to me first. We'll make sure it's okay.
Okay.
Give them the real scoop, huh?
You got to know what's up. Come on.
Okay. What do you do when you're not writing, and does it tie in with your creative work?
Oh, well, I travel. So last week I took my granddaughters to the beach for a week. We just got done camping. I'm going to Laughlin tomorrow. So I really do like Zooming with my students right now. But if I'm not traveling or working, I also teach at Cal State San Bernardino. I'm teaching case law right now. I'm trying to watch TV and zone out.
I understand. I understand. Okay. What do you hope for the Queen Vernita series ultimately?
When I started, I didn't have any expectations at all. It was, I'm just going to publish this book and this is what I'm, that was it. But now that it's starting to kind of gain some speed, maybe, it would be a really great Dora the Explorer or Magic School Bus, a whole new adventure, something new for the kids. I really, my books are all about being out there and being active and kayaking and snorkeling and swimming with the sharks and holding the seahorses and, camping and campfires. And I just really want to encourage all the young children to get out there and do things, going in the bayou and holding a baby alligator. Just anything you can, you need to try it. So I don't know, maybe something really neat will come from it. But if not, I'm having a great time right now. So
okay, what is up next for you creatively?
Well, like I said, I just finished one book. It should be out in the next week or so. I've got another one already working on. Just hired an illustrator for a second one, and I have 2 more in the works for this summer. So
wow,
yeah.
Writers,
well,
right?
They're based on my life, so they're not hard to come up with. They all have the same format. So once I've gone somewhere and explored it and figured out what I want to write about, because there's only 12 things I can write about, it only takes about 2 weeks to write them. It takes my illustrator sometimes 6 months. It matters how fast she wants to work on it. What we do is I take actual pictures I've taken on my trip, something we've done, and I get a friend or a coworker or my student, and she takes a picture of their face, their bodies, and puts it into the illustration. So that's how we get all the different Queen Vernita friends. So it's not all just like my family or whatever. So like we went to Pacific Beach about 3 weeks ago, and my grandson, you couldn't stop on the beach. You couldn't sit down. There'd be families come with the little babies playing in the sand, and they make them leave. It was kind of hard. So we walked, and my grandson, who's 10, swam in the ocean beside us. And so he was dancing, and this huge jellyfish came up on shore. And my friend was with us, and she's dancing over it, trying not to step on it because it was coming in the waves. And so that's an illustration in my book. She just finished it last week. And it's got my grandson in the background. We went to go see the red tide, and then we wanted to see it glowing at night. We went 3 different times and never saw it. So that's still on my bucket list. But so it has my grandson dancing in the waves, and it has my friend over here, and it has the jellyfish all on that page. So that's how it's created. It's real life adventures. So like this one I went to New Orleans for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I went into the bayou on an airjet boat, which was fun. It was thundering and lightning, and we had to hide under the moss and wait till it stopped lightning. But which was fun at that time. I guess it probably wasn't such a great idea, but this guy drove us up on this. It wasn't even land. It was just like this green thing. And he gets out and he starts making this really weird noise, right? All of a sudden you see these eyes coming up. And then there were alligators coming up out of the water, and he starts feeding them. And they were probably 2 feet from us. They were huge.
Wow.
And so I was like, well, I think it's fun. But so then he gets out and hands us this baby alligator to hold. And I'm rubbing its stomach. And then so I posted the picture, and somebody says, they bite. I never even thought about it when I was holding it. It's like, oh, well, he liked me. But so that's where they come from. So this is like an actual picture we put together of an adventure I went on. I have one. Let's see, which one is it? This one. I think it's better than this one. I actually won. I used to play contests all the time, and I won a trip to Hawaii. And so we took my family and we went to Oahu, and we went over to the North Shore. And we went into a shark cage. So we went out about 10 miles, went into the shark cage, and I went in with the boys in my family. And my daughter stayed on the top and was feeding them until the sharks came. So I didn't see that part of it, when they're eating all the food. I just saw them swimming around. And it was really neat. We were like touching the sides of them and stuff. But so this is a page in the Queen Vernita book. It was an actual thing that we did.
That's really
And then
great.
this is Greg, and Greg is my assistant, so he got put inside the page. But it's an actual experience. So, you know, there's like a million things I would love to do and write a book about it. I'm trying to get away from the islands now because I love the beach. My parents had a sailboat for 25 years. So I loved sailing, and we have our favorite beach we go to all of the time. But I want to do something different. So I'm looking for some of the, like the Red Rock. I'm not sure where I'm going to go, Sedona or Valley of Fire or something like that. I also have a friend who has this beautiful bed and breakfast in Tucson, and my book's half done for, it's Segura National Forest. So it's going to be on the desert. So I'm trying to kind of change, and then I'll add in some of the different disabilities that I haven't included yet. Get some of maybe my students to be in it. I think they'd really like that. So,
Amy, do people that are suffering from really horrible maladies like this, are they able to travel and see things like this?
I think, yes, I really believe that. I mean, it's challenging. Like this year, I'm really grateful that Missy is coming because I'll have, usually I focus on either I have to take care of myself, or in years past, taking care of Rebecca kept me from focusing on me too much. But early on in my career, Missy used to say, people just think I'm the person who carries your books. I said, it won't be like that at AOF because I talk about you all the time, whenever, but they might need help, someone, right? But they're I believe everyone is completely capable of doing something, even if it's on a smaller scale.
yes.
And if you work your way up to the big things, AOF was the very first thing I did that was as big as it was, all on my own. And it was intimidating, but what helped was you all gave such a warm welcome, and you all were so supportive. It was unlike any other event I had been to. So even though I had anxiety and everything, it was something, I came back like every year, even though I only get $800 a month, I find a way to get there because it's good for me. It's not just good for my career. It's good for me, for my mental health, for my physical health. It brings me a lot of joy. And so you have to find, whenever you do have these serious maladies, when you find your joy, you've got to embrace it and really take advantage of it.
Interesting. Very interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Well, and everything that you do, once you accomplish it, you kind of build on that too. Oh, right. But I did that, so you know what? I can do it again. I'm scared to try it again. I mean, everybody has that feeling. But I know, like with my students, sometimes the parents don't know what they can do. When I first started introducing going to work, well, they can't do that. Well, yes, they can. we're going. They're going to ride the city bus, and we're going to go to the movies. When I got this new class, my students were a little lower functioning, and they weren't aware that we were even supposed to go into the community. And so when I would introduce it at a meeting, they would just look at me like, no, you're not. And sometimes they would come with us just to make sure. You're going to lose him. Well, no, I'm not. It's okay. But sometimes they've had such a hard time with medical problems, or, there's also, some families have more than one child with a disability, and they're so overwhelmed, they can't even think about doing something like that, something big, But there's programs out there for our students where they go every day and they learn how to work. They work out in the community, dependent on their levels. They're fully functioning. They might be in smaller groups, 3 or 4 students with one person kind of supervising while they're working and earning money.
You just have, you have a really great story and a really great presence behind advocacy for people that have those kinds of issues. So I really appreciate you bringing that to the table, because that's one of the really main things that we talk about on Recovery Unplugged Live is like advocacy and like bringing that stuff kind of out into the open and talking about it.
Yes.
And how people with mental health issues can and should be just spoken about as regular people that can be integrated and can do great things.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I've got to scroll down because my people then I've got round robin questions, but they'll work uh, just the same. Okay, how have your I guess this question would be, how has your brother's health struggles impacted your personal life and your career and your choices?
Well, because it manifested when he was older, when he was in his early 20s, it impacted our family immensely. We weren't even aware of mental issues at the time. We had to do a lot of our own research. We didn't even know where to go. So it has had a great impact. I mean, there were times he was in a coma for a week and nobody really knew why. And so for our family, it's been really rough. Thankfully now he's been stable. He even got married.
Nice.
And so he lives in a home. But you know, they kind of help take care of him, not as well as we would like them to, but you know, but I think that's kind of how I got into what I'm doing now. But I know that it's helped me to have more empathy for my parents. It helps them if we're sitting at a meeting and I say, you know, this is happening in our family too, you know, because some will say, you guys just don't understand. Yeah, we do. A lot of the people that I work with have family members or children that are disabled or have problems that they have to, you know, try to work through. So it helps the parents to know that you're there with them. Yes, you do understand. You know, yes, we do know how hard this is. And the reason that I wanted to add them into my books, well, obviously because my students are in there and I love my students and I want to bring them to the world in a positive way. And this is all positive. They're out there exploring. One time when we were in the high school, I wanted to take them swimming with the dolphins. And it took me a year to get permission to do it. And they earned their own money. We had one of those thermometers that you color in. And so my students earned their own money and they recycled and we went to SeaWorld and went swimming with the dolphins. All of my students went, all of their parents went. And I even had a little girl who had become paralyzed and I was homeschooling and she came too. And they put her in a swing and put her in the water with the dolphins. I had my visually impaired students in the water with us. And it was just an eye-opening thing for everybody to see that they could do that. Like, you have blind students that are snow skiing and they say right on there, you know, that they're blind. And so people know not to get in front of them. But, you know, you just really have to get out there and everybody can do everything. They might have to modify it. It might be a little harder, but the world is open to everybody and it should be.
Okay. What was the most challenging aspect of getting your projects completed?
Finding the time to finish them. To plan them out, you know, between work and everything else. It's sometimes, there was a couple of years I had a goal when I started to publish one book a year, and there was a couple of years I didn't get to publish anything, so now I'm trying to catch up. But just finding avenues of where to meet people. I've met some really interesting people throughout my journey. I do a lot of work with Story Monsters magazine. They're out of Tempe, Arizona. I go there a lot and do a lot of book signings there. And I actually do book reviews for them. I just got a box of books today from them. So I met Kwame Alexander, and he gave a great speech and he said, yes, and this is something everybody should know, say yes to everything. That's what he said. And that's one reason I tried this too. Oh, I thought, well, let me try it, you know, and I've got some interesting stuff that I've done. I've met some interesting people, but he said, you know, just try everything. Just say yes to whatever opportunities come up, because one opportunity will lead to another one, will lead to another one. Just like you trying this, and now look what happened in your life. Like, did you know that was going to happen? No. Did you
AOF,
dream that? I mean, you don't even know that's out there until you try it.
the best way to put it is that in my early 20s, of course, I had big dreams of standing on the stage, winning an Oscar.
Oh, wow.
Right. Those were the kind of dreams I dream. I still dream about that stuff. But I also wanted, just the beginning is I wanted an agent or a manager, and I wanted to win awards at film festivals, and it just wasn't happening. And then I had my breakdown and got really, really sick. So that dream, even the, like, I didn't forget it, but it kind of got buried deep because it was such a traumatic experience, the breakdown. And when I came, I had gone to some smaller festivals before I came to AOF. AOF just was a game changer. It changes your life. I'm just gonna, it just does. You go, and if you are serious about that and whatever, and it was like I sat and listened to Dell's Get It Done script to screen seminar, and I was like, my God, this stuff, I've always wanted to do this stuff, and I didn't just want to do it half measures. I wanted to do it the best I could possibly do it. You know, before that, I was settling. It's not that I don't love Indie Gathering. It's just a smaller place. It's just a smaller festival. But they were great at giving us our first chance as award winners. But AOF is just a different experience. On it, just.
Yeah, but we're only a reflection of the people who come. Let's not get too crazy about AOF. AOF was created for filmmakers, writers, producers, everybody who's creative and wants the shot to succeed. And what we did, only thing we did differently than most shows, we said, well, hang on a second. Let's get rid of the snobbery. Let's get rid of the silliness. Let's get rid of the $100 or $125 submission fees. That's a bunch of garbage. And let's treat them like we want to be treated. That's really what it comes down to. So we, after 16 years, you were there after 11, all you saw was a reflection of all the people who'd come through and created and molded and made this festival. That's why you'll see, you said, well, I'm unhappy with a certain festival, right? I don't really care about anybody else's festival. I mean, God bless you. Good luck. Stay away from me. My problem is I don't really have time for anyone else's garbage. I'm working on my own. So some people come and they leave very quickly. And we make that happen because they don't fit in the program of just having basic human decency. If you just show that, you're ahead of the game. You know, you're way ahead of the game. If you get rid of the ego, my God, you're in top 2 position. So all we're trying to do is say, this is your show. Do what you want with it, but respect it and love it, and respect the people that are around you. You do that, you're golden with us. Period.
I'll give you an example, Don. Oh, there's a wasp. Hold on.
Oh, get him live.
It's a murder hornet. It's a murder hornet.
Murder hornets live. Here.
They really are here.
I'm just waiting for the cat. I'm just waiting for the cat to like hop across the screen.
Yeah, give the hornet to the cat.
No, sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
I forgot. Well, to give you an example of what I think makes AOF different is on 2 occasions. Once, the first year I was there, and the 3rd year I was there, I had anxiety attacks, and people, they did not make me feel uncomfortable or self-conscious. They just asked me what they could do and told me it was going to be okay. And they comforted me because it's embarrassing, and to like just break down in tears, and everybody wants to know why, and you can't explain to them really what's going on. And the first year, I think it was a woman named Sue. She wasn't there when we moved to Vegas from Monrovia.
She's one of the reasons the festival even exists. A lot of it is patterned off of how she operated her oil companies in Texas. She's someone who came into my life and said, I will, she literally said this and then did it. She said, I will never see you fail. No matter what it takes, no matter how hard it is, will never fail if you know me. And she backed my play at every turn. like no one I have ever known in my life, like no one I've ever known. And this woman really personifies what AOF has become. And so, yeah,
She
that was
was,
Sue. Yeah.
yeah, she comforted me because I started crying because another filmmaker there had gone to hit on somebody, and I wanted, I wasn't sure because my disc, they were having trouble playing my movie because of my DVD, and he just took off, and I was like, oh great, and I freaked out, like, is my movie gonna? I just started panicking, and she came up to me and said, it's okay, you don't panic, you don't see me panicking, do you? You don't panic until I do. And my movie showed, she just kept me, just calm me down because I was in tears basically. And in the third year, I had the anxiety attack, and then it was Teresa who took care of me. That's Dale's wife and the festival director.
Yeah, well, Teresa's a nurse. She's been a nurse for 20 years. I mean, that she's, that's how we operate. I mean, and again, everyone is not going to have that experience. If someone approaches us in a way that is not as kind as we want to be treated or the way we want to treat them, we stop, because you cannot see to everyone's needs. You've got to really be careful and say, here's the general way that we operate, but we do not go past those lines, because some people will take advantage. And we've had that, and you understand what I'm talking about because
Yeah,
you've seen it.
do. Yeah.
We've had people come in and try and steal our show and our guest list and our sponsor list, pretending to be friends, and they go and try their own show, which crumbles and falls horribly. We've seen that 5 times now. It's not just any one group. They want to try and we had a group that had taken to China one year. I'm like, are you your mind? So it's okay. But we also weed out the ones that we think will not be as fair or kind or open. And that's why you have a team at the top with Laurel Adler and Amy Lay and Teresa and Joyce and Shane, right? And
Annabelle.
a jumping point so people can find you. And you also have a branding point that's already in existence. Number 2, you know how we operate, and we try to work with vendors and stores and locations that are kind to our people, and our people are kind to them. And you also know, because you've been there and you've experienced it, how the AOF family operates. I don't mean the people who work there, I mean the people who come there. They call themselves the AOFers for a reason. We didn't come up with that name, they came up with that name. And it's a very proud group of people, where writers come to the film awards and filmmakers go to the writers awards and support each other. It's amazing how they've done it. This is a reflection of the audience and not necessarily the people at the top. So we're really, really grateful that you guys have molded us in the way that you have.
Dawn, do you want to say something about that?
I don't have any experiences to draw from. This is my first, film fest of any kind, even as just an audience member. So this is all brand new for me. But the Conquering the Disabilities was what caught my attention, because it's my passion, and I wanted to see how my stories did here with my students and my friends. And I'm just really excited about going and seeing what it's all about and learning from everybody. And we'll see, where it goes from there.
Okay. My journey includes AOF Megafest in 2016. They provided me with opportunities. Granted, these opportunities were available for everyone at AOF, but I would never have had them otherwise. I hope to provide you access to those same opportunities. What do you think is different about and both of you can answer again, Conquering Disabilities with Film and other film festivals in general?
For me, it's just that we're pinpointing a very specific group of people, and instead of saying let's separate you into your own show, we're saying let's bring you into another show where you're going to meet an entirely different group of people who may be able to support you in your endeavors as an artist or as a subject or as a story or as a professional. And you're not going to be just cordoned off into one specific group. Okay, that's the disabled group. We don't do that. We bring everybody together, as you well know. So, and we don't make differences between some of the celebrities that show up. They're there. They don't come up and say, well, I can't talk to that person. They talk to everybody. So everyone gets a chance to be exposed to industry professionals, buyers. You know, some people like Dr. Goldman is always there, philanthropist, billionaire with his ilk, and they bring all kinds of people every year, as you well know, and they come in and they support. So there's not much more you can ask for than that, other than, as opposed to being excluded. I think we're just more inclusive across the board because you are with other groups happening simultaneously. So you're exposed to all of that good stuff.
Okay. Dawn, do you want to say anything?
Again, I don't have any experiences to draw from, but that sounds wonderful.
Okay. And this one is the biggest question of the night. And I think you've already said it at some point, Dawn. Do you plan on attending Conquering Disabilities with Film and Megafest in September?
I've already taken off of work and I have my hotel.
Love
And my son's coming with me. So yes, I'm coming.
You're going to have some fun. We'll have some
Oh,
fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
The more I
So
learn
John,
about it, the more excited I get,
so John, you have any questions?
No, not really. Not really. I think you all did great, honestly. I
A
want
great
to thank
episode.
Laura, Beth, Bob, Krista, Suzanne, Kimberly for watching and commenting and talking along the way. But yeah, no, it's been really good. It's interesting to hear everybody's perspective as I'm kind of as we're drawing people together and getting closer to the festival, hearing your experiences, Amy, and then definitely Dawn. I'm excited to see where you go. I think this is exciting. I think it is for you too, right? You're already ready.
I haven't quite.
And then Del, just to continuously hear more about the AOF Megafest and how you have separate festivals incorporated into one kind of event, and the way that you were able to attract talent, bring people together, and kind of create that community for not only independent but just broadening everybody's horizons as filmmakers is
It's
no
one's been more blessed by this thing than me. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I've had the most incredible experiences, met the most wonderful people, and we've been able to support some folks that probably never would have been, ever received that kind of support, and that makes me very, very happy that we were able to do that.
I bet. And just it's kind of like how you attacked your career and you kind of went and faced Hollywood head on and said, this is how I am going to do my
we're just, that is still very in its early stage. I've been doing it for 30 years, 35 years, but it's still in its early stages. I mean,
right.
All the stuff we've done so far is nothing compared to what's on the horizon. And we got 5 movies coming out this in the next 3 months that are in post-production right now. We just released Behind the Gate on Amazon. Ray Ray's next, even though that's a dated film. No one has ever seen it. So like they say at NBC, if you haven't seen it, it's new to you. Sit down and shut up. I feel the same way.
That's right.
But I love your books, young lady. I've got 2 of them. I read 2 with my kids and my wife. We love them. Can't wait to showcase at the festival. We're going to do some promo for you on Facebook, and I'm sure that we're going to get you in the AOF magazine as well with a feature story. So Amy will get you that information this week, and we'll have some fun. Thank you guys for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, listen, if it's not an opportunity, what's it about? So we got to be
so send me pictures of you guys reading my books.
I will do that. We'll absolutely do that. Absolutely. Yeah. No question. That's easy.
And
That's
then I'm going
easy.
to quiz you and see what you've learned.
You listen. You're gonna
You
have.
can't
We'll
beat
do that
if I-
live. We can do that
You,
live
you don't beat
online.
me. You don't beat me. Sorry. I've had so many free lunches. People quizzing me. Let's go.
Del, do you
Let's
want to
take
tell them real quickly about the No Risk Fee Fest platform?
Yeah. Also, I try to tell people every week, you do not have to waste fees on film festival. If you're looking at any of the AOF Megafest shows, don't send a submission fee in. Send us a link to the work first. We'll review the work. If we think we can showcase or keep in our show, then we'll tell you, go ahead and pay the fee you're in. If not, why waste your time and money? We don't do that. So you can always use a company we call NoRiskFeeFest.com, NoRiskFeeFest.com. It takes all of the possible loss from any submission fees out of the equation when you're entering a film festival. And we think that's just the way it should be. You don't take submissions for 2,000 movies when you're only going to show 20. It makes me sick. You just don't do that. Stupid.
Boom.
Okay, well, that's all I got.
Does that
What'd
mean
you
we
say,
stop?
tennis
Does
ball?
that mean we stop then? That's all you got.
That's all you got. What's wrong with you?
Is that it? Are we done? Like, are we coming back? When? Next season, right?
Well,
This was the last of our. This was the last of our venture.
Yeah, well, it'll be October, the first Monday in October. And I've got the first 5 people lined up, but I'm reaching out to other people to be on the show. Like Annabelle is scheduled to be on.
Love her new book. Both of you
Yeah.
have great new books out. Fantastic stuff.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All
I
right,
really
everyone.
worked. He read, so I told John he was in the book, so he had to buy a copy of it.
Checks in the mail. Checks in the
Checks
mail.
in the mail.
All right, everybody.
Nice to meet you,
Thank you for
Don.
tuning in
Thank
to
you.
Recovery
All
Unplugged
right, I'll see you
Live.
in a few months.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll talk before then, I'm
Bye.
sure.
Dawn,
Thank
Del,
you.
thanks, thanks, and everybody
all.
else.
Thank
we
you
will
both.
see you guys. Make sure you check out the AOF Megafest. Check out Conquering Disabilities with Film, the International Film Festival, and we will see you guys in a couple months.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Dear Daniel Craig, life did not always look like this. This marked a moment of triumph, a way of crushing an abysmal past and daring those with a stereotypical view of those with mental illness to challenge me on any front. To many, this was just a documentary. For me and Missy, this was our life.
It's like my skin is coming off. And my thoughts, they're racing so fast. I can't keep up.
I'm suffering too, you know. You're not the only one.
It's like my mind is coming apart and I can't get it to come together.
I think it's more than just that. Amy's been having a really hard time lately. She goes on these crying jags. She explodes without warning. She's so angry and so paranoid these days. She's not the happy Amy that I remember from Kentucky.
She thinks you're manic depressive. I, however, do not. I think this is something you've been obsessing on. I believe that it's all in your head.
A lot of great wing courage to come here. We're going to get you some help. I'll be okay. You do have a diagnosis. You have rapid cycling manic depression.
Dear Daniel Craig, bipolar disorder and those that saw it as contagious sought to pull me under, snap me in half, break me down. Even those well-intentioned do-gooders who see therapy and medication as bad and wrong, who see mentally ill individuals as hapless and hopeless, they're wrong. I found hope in your work. A comrade in Missy, my rock when no one else understood. You two are my twin lights when this disease threatened to take me down. And treatment was what got me through. Thank you, Daniel, for your talent and your work. Thank you for everything. Sincerely, Amy McCorkle.